Coming up on Charlotte Sports Today, we'll talk a little basketball. Both the NBA and college basketball will come into a conclusion. Who's in and who's out. Also coming up, we'll talk a little MMA action. What's going on around the Carolinas. And also, I'll do a little posing. Yes, I'm going to make fun of myself and embarrass myself on TV, but it's all fun. Coming up here on Charlotte Sports Today. Welcome to Charlotte Sports Today. This is a premiere edition, and the star athletes are you, Charlotte, the Weekend Warriors, the men and women who play in the local park fields, whose work goes largely unnoticed by the local television. Charlotte Sports Today will do our best to bring you the events not covered by the local media. From the flag football games to the local basketball tournaments, we'll be there for those. Also the local mixed martial arts events who showcase the local fast rising stars of us. All will be seen right here on Charlotte Sports Today.
Do you like this top? So gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
All right, folks, we're knee-deep in basketball talk here, and joining me is Mr. Ed Billick from Sports Chatter 101.
Great.
And nationally syndicated radio talk show host, Mr. Pudge Miller, host of KIRP Radio. I hope I got that correct. Pudge, welcome to you out there in Greensboro.
Thanks. You got it right. KIRP Radio Show. That's it.
And I did that without a teleprompter, too, so I'm very proud of myself. Guys, let's touch on a little NBA talk right now. The trade deadline's getting ready to come and go. We've got some teams already making playoff implications right now. I think we only have like a month left in the season here. I don't think too much in the top of the NBA as we start up in the East. There's going to be too much shaking, too much going around on those top seeds. Do you, Ed?
Well, I tell you what, you see Chicago Bulls, the #1 power. I mean, Derrick Rose's back problem is behind him, I think, right now. Chicago is strong. My question is, what did we do with Dwight Howard? I mean, it's come and gone. Dwight, is he still with the Magic?
Yeah.
Are they going to buff up that team, or they let him go? That's going to be intriguing, and we know by now what has happened there. But I like Chicago. Of course, Miami, you can't say no to them with LeBron and really having a better season. So, I don't know, Chicago and Miami, it's going to come down to those two.
You don't see too much changing at the top seeds, do you, out there, Pudge?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you too well, Chaz.
You don't think there's going to be too much changing on the top of these seeds?
No, I don't, not at all. I think it's pretty consistent, and they've been pretty strong all year. One thing about the NBA right now is that with these three teams leading the way, it's been pretty good NBA basketball. It seems like NBA basketball has definitely come back. So, you know, I appreciate these guys leading the way, and I think the fans do as well.
What's the most shocking thing to me that as the Clippers have come up this past year, they've really challenging the Lakers out there in L.A. for dominance, Ed?
And I think that's a lot of fun for the L.A. fans with CP3 and Blake Griffin. Man, that guy's cocky as all.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The Clippers, guys, and we're talking even playoffs with that team, and in my entire life, they've never been a winner. So it's quite interesting, and putting that good pressure against the Lakers too for dominance there.
Pudge, does that mean the Mayans are correct that 2012 is going to be the last of our days here as we see the Clippers search for dominance out there in L.A.?
Yeah, I think I think we've seen the last of the Clippers. You know what? Blake Griffin is an awesome player, but I think Chris Paul really holds the piece of this team. So I would like to say that we've seen the last of the end of the horrible days for the Clippers, but you know what? Without Chris Paul, that team self-destructs again. So I think he's the glue to that team right now.
Is Chauncey Billups
if he's going to stay or go?
Is Chauncey Billups going to be back? Because I know he's out right now, and he's the kind of veteran leadership that's going to hold, I think, that team together. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought for a minute Chauncey Billups would be in the way because Chauncey he's a creator as well. you know, he kind of likes to take his own shot. He's not used to getting the ball from someone else and taking the shot, so it's kind of hard to say, but I think that leadership in the locker room and that tough mentality, and Chauncey Billups is a winner, let's face it. He's been around and he's got better through the test of time. So I think once he does come back and he's full strength, and they can afford to rest him, by the way. So once he comes back, if Caron Butler is still playing good ball, you better watch out.
It's going to make for a lot of fun for the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Do we think there's going to be a rematch in the NBA Finals? Is Dallas really? They're not doing anything.
No, Dallas got rid of the talent. They were under the salary cap, of course letting Tyson Chandler go. No, they won't be there, but Oklahoma City is a factor. Oklahoma City is a factor there, guys.
How surprising is it to see a small market team like Oklahoma City do it? It's you know, every time I think of powerhouse teams, Oklahoma City really doesn't jump out.
Well, what, coming out of Seattle, they brought the franchise down there. The fans were excited. Remember, during Katrina, that's where the New Orleans Hornets went and played. So they got a fan base. I mean, I just love the whole thing. I'm a big Oak City fan.
I like them as well. I think they're very talented. They're very young. And they've grown over this small amount of time to become even in the conversation of being a powerhouse. So, you know, watch out for Oklahoma. That's my favorite out of the West, by the way.
Could they actually go all the way? Could we see Oklahoma City?
Well, the question then for you two guys is, can they beat Miami or Chicago in the head-to-head matchup? I don't know.
To me, it's always any given Sunday type thing because, you know, Miami was supposed to be, you know, the guys who are supposed to be hoisting up the trophy at the end of the season. But here comes Dallas.
Pudge, is it Oklahoma City and Miami, or is it Oklahoma City and Chicago? What do you see?
I think it's Oklahoma City and Miami. I just personally, I don't think anybody's going to beat Miami when it comes to playoff ball. I think they per se learned their lesson. Yeah, I don't even think, you know, even with LeBron James' failures in the fourth quarter during the playoffs and this, that, and the third, I think Spoelstra learned a lot. Yeah. So with the coach learning a lot and learning that team that he has, they're a little bit deeper than what they were last year. They're a little bit more tougher, and you can see them playing better team ball. So I think you got to come through Miami in the East. But let me tell you something about Oklahoma. These guys put up 104 points like it's nothing. Yeah. Over half the games of their season's been over 100 points. Chicago's barely getting over 80 points, but they are holding their opponents to below 90 points. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Miami-Chicago thing. I'm thinking really that Miami's going to come out. But Oklahoma, you better be ready to put up some points with those guys. I'm telling you. Watch out for Oklahoma.
Can the Spurs emerge in this shortened season like they did in '99?
That's a fascinating story. You know, two shortened seasons, and San Antonio could be raising could be holding the trophy.
Tim Duncan was back with them. So I still think that team's getting too old. And Manu Ginobili. Parker's been playing lights out ball, though, so I don't know.
That's fascinating to see. I wonder how. Go ahead, Pudge.
Oh, I was saying I don't know either, man. So, you know, the Spurs, I guess you can never count them out, man. Tim Duncan is Mr. Dependable. They pretty much have the same team that they had, but, you know, Manny's beat up. I think he came back too early off of 2 different injuries. I really don't see San Antonio causing any havoc, only because they've been beat up through the year. And, you know, Ginobili a step slower, still kind of hurt, I think. Tim Duncan 2 steps slower. I think they're pretty much out the door.
Ed's ready to jump through the computer screen because he's from San Antonio, so treat him pretty nice.
Go Spurs!
The aging thing is a big factor, especially when he's talked about the same almost how Boston was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They're getting aging, but they're always still right there in the thick of it. So.
And Rondo a couple weeks ago had an awesome game on Sunday, so I think Boston may stick their head up at the end of it. It's Miami, Chicago in the East.
There's a pick. So let's move on to a little college ball real quick. We're sort of knee-deep in the NCAA playoffs. Right now they're predicting, because we're taping ahead, that the ACC will get 5 schools at least going pretty far into the tournament. The Tar Heels are predicted to go pretty far in there. How well do we see some of these teams doing? Is UNC a sure lock? Do we think we'll make it pretty far?
Well, year after year, they always seem to be. And what they did to Duke in that last game of the season, through the tournament, they're strong. I like the Tar Heels there in the Final Four.
Yeah. Are you predicting the same thing? Is there going to be another team from the ACC in the mix there out there, Pudge?
No. Okay, I'm a Tar Heel fan, man, but let's get some credit to Duke, okay?
Of course.
Duke can put up points pretty fast, but I think they live and die by the three. So, you know, with Coach K on the bench, who knows what's gonna happen? I got to go with the Tar Heels, though.
Yeah, I know there's some chatter about NC State trying to make it in. I think that sort of died down as the season's gone along. Like I said, we're taping this ahead of the tournament, so we don't really know who's going to be all involved. Is there just a team out there in general, Pudge, that you think, hey, look out for these guys? Of course, Kentucky's going to be out there in the mix. A lot of like Syracuse.
Yeah, who's the surprise team, Pudge? I mean, when we're all sitting here saying, "Wow, where'd they come from?"
And you mean in the entire NCAA?
Yeah, entire field. Who do you think could really pop out?
I think we got a few teams out there, man. I like NC State as a sleeper, but I don't really see a Cinderella this year. I mean, there's a couple teams that are strong that has some great records out there. You got Minnesota. I really don't have a sleeper team. I think you can watch out for teams like Marquette, who's very deep. Even teams, you know, you got to look at Gonzaga. I mean, they got a really good shot too. And, you know, so far as a sleeper team, I don't have one. I pretty much think it's UNC. And let's not forget, it's all dependent upon how they do the brackets. We all got to remember that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the brackets can be a mess. But outside of Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, maybe Ohio State, I don't see anyone else really coming to the big dance.
Yeah, since the NCAA expanded to 68 teams, I don't really know what the other the other teams are in their purpose for. I guess just give them that pub that, hey, you made it.
Money.
Yeah, you made it to the NCAA. Do you like this expanded field? Do you think it's sort of a delusion? We always talk about college football when there's 101 different bowl games, but when you have 68 teams going to the big dance, does it sort of dilute the field just a little bit?
I'm okay with it. I tell you, the talk to go to, what was it, 96 a year or so ago? That scared that man. Says now we're getting beyond what's acceptable. I'm good with the way it's set up right now.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I like the setup.
End of the day, Chaz, Syracuse is my team.
You got Syracuse going all the way.
They've had some, you know, off-court difficulties this year. I think they still continue, but Boeheim and the guys, I think Syracuse will be there.
Yeah, there's that little bit of scuttlebutt, that little bit of that same story that came out of Penn State. Yeah. The same thing that's going up in Syracuse, and like you said, Boeheim sort of ride the ship just a little bit, just trying to make
strong regular season record at 30-1. Can't beat that.
In Kentucky,
Kentucky the same, yeah.
It seems like
I don't know how I left Syracuse out, man. Somebody's going to roast me for that one.
it seems like, you know, once you watch, all the teams sort of go to the top. You know, there's no big George Washington. There's no St. Joe's. I guess there was a couple years ago where there's a couple of sleepers out there.
George Mason or somebody
George Mason a couple of years ago. I don't really see if there's that type of year going on. I'm looking at the sheet here, and I really don't see anybody who popped out except for the normal.
It'll probably be over and done by now, but Harvard is going to make the tournament.
Yeah,
We're going to talk
Harvard's
Jeremy Lin later.
This is the first since 1946?
Yeah, exactly, Pudge. Yep, Pudgy, 1946. So Harvard's in there, and it'll be some fun games to watch.
I
can't really fathom a big Ivy League school. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get calls from, you know.
Yeah, a lot of brainiacs out there. I'm playing basketball. Those guys, they're behind the books most of the day. I don't know.
Jeremy Lin, baby. Jeremy Lin. Don't forget. You can't count the Ivy League schools out.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't want any nicely, strongly worded, very pronounced, and very good emails with a lot of diction coming up to us. So let's make sure.
Harvard's in.
So we got NBA talk and got college basketball talk. You guys have your predictions.
Great time. Hey, Pudgy, one question. Do you think the Charlotte Bobcats would get an NCAA bid?
You know, that's very darn funny.
Do you think that team can compete?
That's okay. I'll take that because I know Michael Jordan has a plan. That's okay. I'll take that.
We're waiting to see Michael's plan, but it would be interesting if they can even compete at that level.
I wonder if his plan includes selling the team for a little while.
You know, I hope not. I really hope not.
I can't believe you guys.
Put the pieces together. Get a number one draft choice. Get Kemba on a winning team. Hopefully he has a plan.
And just going back to the Bobcats, what can you guys nail down as a central problem? They're right now at the bottom, I believe, in the East, if not bottom of the league.
Only won 5 games, Pudgy, you know, and when you watch them play, they just, you know, they're in it, and then they just miss so many shots. And word is Boris Diaw's out. They're gonna try to trade him, but I don't know who they're gonna build around. What do you think?
I think they're gonna totally reconstruct that team. Here's what I'm hoping, guys. I'm hoping Michael Jordan and whomever else in the front office has some big plan with all that extra salary cap money they have to go after 2 stars and maybe add them to an Augustine and put Diaw in the background. And, maybe we can do something if we bring in some big names. But, we can't build around that team. I just don't see it.
Well, to your point, they have 180 to 100 million of salary cap room in the offseason, so we need to start. I believe he's going to start spending that money and we need a big guy in the middle. There's just a lot of needs, but there is some money out there to spend.
Question is, we got it. So
I think we can attract 2,
maybe 3 big timers. If we do it right, we got the money to spend. So we'll see.
And then we got to put the fans back in the seats, and then start generating the revenue. So,
well, here's what's funny though, and I've been to a few. Sad to say, but I've been to a few games this year, and we sell the house out when the big names come to town.
Oh, sure.
When Derrick Rose came to town, sold out. Kobe comes to town, always sold out. When the Miami Heat came to town, sold out. So, hey. We will sell the seats if we get the names, I believe.
I've been there for a game.
Give it to the Charlotte fans for standing up for the team.
I've been there for a game, and the scalpers were out of tickets when a big name was here. So then
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Before I let you guys go on this segment, some NFL news real quick. That our Peyton Manning out there in Indianapolis, they've come to, it looks like, a divorce. I guess there'll be a press conference.
It's always about money, isn't it?
Yeah, they're they're having the news conference today as we're taping this show. We don't know what will happen in the 2 weeks in between that time if Peyton will find a new team. How do we see this? What teams are out there, do you think, that he'll end up going to? How did we get to this point?
Well, we got to this point because it is business after all, and it's big money. I mean, I even go back to Hines Ward, threw him out with the trash kind of thing in Pittsburgh. You got to keep respect for these guys, but there's a lot of money. It's a big business decision. Peyton Manning, Pudgy, I tell you what, Miami, I'd like to see him with the Dolphins to reinvigorate that franchise. I don't want him anywhere near Washington.
As a Jets fan, I don't want him to go to Miami.
And I don't want him anywhere near Washington because I think they'll ruin him. Well, nobody will ever ruin Peyton. Denver Broncos are in the mix, too.
Do you think, that seems sort of, I don't know if that,
Elway knows quarterbacks, and I don't know. I don't know if Tebow's the guy. I think he still has a question mark. I believe we'll talk that next. But what do you think, Pudgy? Where's Peyton going to end up?
I've looked at this thing inside and outside, man, and I don't know where Peyton's going to end up. People are talking Cleveland. People are talking Miami. I've heard some chatter about Minnesota. I have no idea, but I find it hard to well, I guess they're going to release him so he can go where he wants. But it would be tough to have to deal with him in the AFC after you just let him go. I mean, who wants an avengeful Peyton Manning?
Yeah, I'd like to see him go to Cleveland. They're sort of second on my depth chart, and they've been wallowed in so much heartbreak, I guess, these past couple of years. So I'd like to see.
You could do that. I'm a born diehard Steeler fan, so I don't. I got my hands full with the Ravens. I don't need Peyton Manning up in Cleveland.
Gunk up the work.
I think maybe we should look out for him. Chaz, I know you don't want to hear this, but I mean New York.
I don't know. As a Jet, that's fine with me.
What do you do with Sanchez?
That's the question. What do you do with Sanchez?
Can you afford both? I don't know.
I think they're hard pressing the salary cap, but I just don't want to see another Brett Favre type deal going up there where I know Peyton isn't retiring just yet, but he could be close to more getting out the door.
It is the most interesting NFL story of this offseason.
We'll try to cover it right here.
Oh, you better believe it.
My God.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate
Enjoyed it.
We're back after this.
No problem.
See.
While I was on a combat patrol in Baqaba, Iraq, a rocket-propelled grenade took my arm off at the shoulder. I was discharged from the Army, and I've been working with the Wounded Warrior Project since 2007. Warriors don't have to be severely wounded to be with the Wounded Warrior Project. We do have a lot of guys that have post-traumatic stress disorder. Being able to share your story, I guess it kind of helps you wrap your mind around what did happen over there. My name is Norby, and yes, I do suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, but I'm okay.
All right, folks. You know how the general exercises go. You got the weightlifting, that goes to the muscles. Then you got all the cardio stuff. That's good for the heart, get the heart rate going. But I got a guy who knows about the yoga. I have no idea what yoga is supposed to do. So I got one of my good friends, Corey Von Negedy, here. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You doing good? You
Doing
look
good.
good.
Good to see you. You look good.
Well, I tried to. He's a fighter. He's fighting a couple of fights in Greensboro, Charlotte. You're up in Lenore last time. But little do people know, behind those muscles and the smile and the fierce fighting attitude, is a guy who does the yoga. Guys are into yoga. They can do yoga.
Guys are into yoga. There's nothing wrong with guys doing yoga. First thing they got to do is get past the stigma of the whole guy doing yoga thing. And once they get in there, they like it. They enjoy it.
Is there different exercises for the guys who do yoga and the women who do yoga?
And there's some exercises that might be a little easier for women to do than men, and vice versa. But no, we all do the same types of exercises. We don't limit one exercise to one gender and another exercise to another.
And I guess the first thing, whenever you do any type of exercise, is to actually warm up, which I haven't done, so I'm not going to worry about the warm up. So if I pull a muscle, we're just going to blame it on the studio for not letting us have enough time to warm up.
Lawsuit.
Lawsuit is what we want. So let's just sort of hit it in a general. If I'm coming into class for the first time, give me a pose that you would have maybe on the first day.
On the first day.
On the
Okay.
first day.
First off, in any yoga class that we have at Arikion, you can come in, whether you're a beginner or an expert, and take any of the classes and be okay. But we'll go through a few poses to start out. I can go through all the warrior poses or just a couple of them. We'll try and simplify it for you.
And folks, take notice of this, how great I am. He's in sweats and a tee. I'm in my suit that I had to take for a couple other shows beforehand. But I'm doing this all in the suit, ladies and gentlemen. So
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Duly noted, though. They got it. All right, so we're going to start out with Warrior 1. All right, you're going to do this with me? We're going to do it step by step?
Yeah, I want to see it first.
Okay.
Then we'll do it step by step.
All right.
You can tell me how wrong I'm
So I'm going to go ahead and go into my lunge. My back leg is going to be straight. Keep it strong the whole time. This back foot's going to be placed at about a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
So go ahead and go back into your lunge. See what you got here.
Hopefully I'm lit back here.
All right,
back,
there you go. All right, now you're going to sink down into your lunge to where your thigh's parallel to the floor, preferably.
Yeah.
All right, keep the back foot on the ground if you can. Keep your heel down. All right, keep your knee in line with your ankle.
I'm shaking
There you
already.
go, almost. You got it. All right, sink down, thigh parallel to the floor, chest forward, pressing your hips forward. Hands up, shoulders backing down away from your ears, giving yourself a slight back bend. Right there. That's where it's at right there,
I
Chaz.
can feel the
You
burn.
see that?
I can feel the
You
burn.
feel it?
I feel the sweat. And
Lift
shaking.
your chest up towards the ceiling.
I'm lifting it to that light, which I probably will go into if I keep doing this.
You're
Now,
good.
now, what is this supposed to?
Right here? Go ahead and get back in the place. Come on now.
Jesus
You got to hold it. All right, we're going to adjust you a little bit. Go ahead
Okay.
and come back just a little bit. Arms straight. Get your arms straight. Shoulders backing down. Right here, you should be feeling it in this hip area.
I'm
right
feeling
here.
in this thigh right there.
Yeah, opening up your groin, open up your hip, getting a deep stretch right here.
Holy crap.
You feeling it? You
Yeah,
all
oh
right?
yeah, I felt
Careful.
it all right. I'm a little older than you. So I'm all right.
You starting to sweat a little?
It's just because I don't want to show off too much.
Okay, I understand. That's fine.
So now that was for the thigh.
Yes.
And for the
That was working. That was working a lot of muscles
Yeah,
right
it was.
there. Yeah. We're
like
working
I said,
a lot there.
especially for 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
What else you got for me? Before I go even further, because you are an MMA guy, how does this translate into the workout you do?
Translates in a lot of ways. Biggest one being flexibility, obviously. But what I get out of yoga the most is not only physical benefits, but it's more so the mental aspect of it. I started doing it, and 2-3 weeks into it, I could just tell I had more energy. I was a happier person. Just a completely different change in my mood.
I wasn't very happy doing
You weren't
that.
happy right there? Like I said, it takes a couple weeks. It takes a couple weeks. It doesn't happen right away. But if you stick with it and be consistent with it, you notice real changes.
And by the way, because you're up there at Recon, there's a lot of fighters up there at Recon.
Yes, sir.
Pitt Crowder, who just had his pro fight back in January.
Yes, sir.
Another great guy. He had Curtis Cloward
Yes,
up there in
sir.
January. Congratulations to him. Who am I missing? Cloping. Ryan Cloping
sir.
is also out there. So this, and I know I'm going to leave somebody out, so I apologize to to the guys if I'm missing somebody real quick after losing my breath on doing that. But there's the Rikyon and those guys. It's a wrestling school also. So, and your brother, congratulations to him. This is state champion.
Thank you very
so
much.
He's up there.
Yes, sir.
There's your public acknowledgement there, redhead.
Most outstanding wrestler at the
There
tournament.
you go.
Too. Yes,
Congratulations too, freaky redhead kid.
Sir. Yeah, it's freaky.
What else you got for me?
Okay. I want to show you my favorite pose.
Okay.
Now, you can try this one. I don't want you to split your pants, but you know, whatever.
They're pull away. So.
I got you. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to down right here. This is called side crow. All right. So this takes a lot of flexibility in the lower back and just your spine in general. Okay. So you can place your hands on the ground. I'm going to bring this left knee to the side, and I'm going to hook the left knee behind, my right knee behind my left elbow. So once I have it hooked, I'm going to slowly start leaning on my hands. Now the pose is designed to have your legs out like this right here, but I like to kind of change it up, make it my own, and lift it up a little higher, give it a little character. See that right there?
Now you're just showing.
I want you to try.
Jesus, this is going to make our director back there.
I'm gonna help you out. It's all right. Go ahead and get down. Get in your squat, hands
Okay.
to the side. There you go.
Hands
Now
to
you're
the
gonna
side.
bring this knee. You're gonna place it right there.
This knee over here.
Right there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. Now if you can hook it on top of the elbow right there, and then go ahead and balance it on the elbow.
The elbow on the knee.
Yeah, yeah. Knee on the elbow more so. There you go. Now go ahead and lean and put all your weight on your hands right there, and slowly start to lift your legs up. You got it.
Yes, I can hear my director oh man, this is.
See, I'm scared to try and help you.
I'm scared to try to do it, to tell you the truth. You know what?
We'll stick with the Warrior
We'll
One.
stick
We'll
with
stick
the
with Warrior One for now. We'll work our way to the side
Yeah,
crow.
we'll work that one
Yes,
out.
sir.
I saw it done a couple of times, so every time you win, you guys break out of the pose. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to see it all the time.
Of course.
Man, it really does take a while. Yoga, you shouldn't just jump right into it. It seems like, at least for me, it takes a little time. Like we said, do the stretching. You always want to get in there and stretch, make sure everything's limbered up. But what does it actually? It's more for flexibility, correct?
Of course, of course. And like I said, there's a mental aspect of it too. What I like about yoga, all right, when you go into a gym and you're lifting heavy weights, you're working on your major muscle groups, all right? So if I go into the gym, I'm doing squats, I'm working on my legs, the major muscle groups like the quads, the hamstrings and everything. What yoga does, when you go in there, you're working major muscle groups with the exercise, but you're also focusing on the smaller muscle groups that get neglected when you go into a gym and lift real heavy. So what you're doing, you go in there, you work on these small muscle groups, and you get better movement out of your body, and you just have stronger muscle groups in general, and it helps prevent injury. I could go on for days talking about the benefits, all right, but unfortunately we don't have that
certified now,
time.
aren't you?
Yes, sir.
You're certified.
Yes, sir. Thanks to Quinn Reynolds.
There you go. How long should somebody do this type of exercise? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? Or?
Yeah. However long you want to do it, you're going to get whatever benefit. What you put in is what you're going to get out. You can do yoga. If you do yoga for 10 minutes a day, great. If you do it for an hour a day, great. You do it for 2 hours a day, great. Do whatever you can.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What else can you bust out on me so I can embarrass myself?
All right.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
One of my other favorite poses is the one I do after all my fights. This is the Warrior 2.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's similar to the Warrior 1. So let's go ahead. Let's get back into our lunge right here.
Back into the
All
lunge.
right, back leg straight and strong, 45-degree angle, back foot, sinking down into the lunge, thigh parallel to the floor. Go ahead and lean back a little bit.
back,
So
lean
yeah, you're all four.
I'm tight. Well, gotta lean.
Sorry. All right, thigh parallel, knee in line with the ankle right here. All right,
Oh, I can
you got
do
this?
Yeah.
That's right here. All right, now we're going to lean forward.
Look at that. Look at the symmetry.
You like that?
I
That's
hope
where it's
I'm
at.
doing right.
Right there.
Now, how is it just going back and forth, or you just stay there for good?
We'll start from right here, then we'll lean forward, then we'll come back, then we'll go to another pose.
Okay, so
We'll
you're just-
flow from one
so you're
pose
just
to the
nice-
next.
Oh man, I can. How is that?
That's not bad. That's not bad. Not bad.
It's not-
Not bad for work clothes. Not bad for work clothes, my friend.
I'm always. This is what I go out and jog with every morning too. I just go outside in the suit and tie.
Hey, why change it up? You don't even have to switch clothes before you go to work. You just run to work.
Yeah, yeah. The whole 15 minutes away. Let's talk about the fight you had last time. It was a championship fight,
Yes,
title
sir.
fight. Fortunately, it didn't go the way you wanted it to. But I'm going to back you up. because I remember sitting up on stage watching it, and we'll put this in so people can actually see what happened. It should have been stopped in the second round. You had, and this is all due respect to Jason. Jason Salvo is a great competitor, great guy, and he really worked it. I thought the fight should have stopped. You had him brought at the end of that second round. Anybody can. That's just my opinion. And then, unfortunately, you went into the third round after you didn't stop it. Great judges. Then, of course, you got rocked and you lost it. Have you had time to go back and look at it yourself and say?
Actually, for the first time, I was able to watch the full video of the fight. I know they had like a 6-minute version out of just the highlights of it, but 1 week ago they put out the full version. I was able to see it just yesterday. And it's funny, I watched it, and after I was done watching it, my fingernails were gnawed down to the bone. I was sweating. I had to go take a shower. I couldn't believe it. And I hit Jason up on Facebook to let him know again how tough of a guy he was. He's a classy guy. And, you know, unfortunately, the fight wasn't stopped at the end of the second round. You know, I wish it would have been, looking back. But, you know, in Jason's defense, he was tough. You know, he was able to stick it out, and he came back and he beat me in the third round, so my hat goes off to him.
Yeah, and luckily enough, you'll have a better chance coming up in April.
Yes, sir.
April 19th. You excited for that one?
I'm excited. I'm ready to get back in there and, you know, get my face back. You know, it feels so much better to leave that cage as a winner, having my hand raised, than leave with my head down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure that happens this time.
Yeah, and I'm not here to stroke your ego, but you're one of my favorite guys to watch out there. Very exciting fight. You got one more pose to give me real quick?
One more pose. Well, since I've done Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, we might as well do Warrior 3.
Is there an escalating echelon in difficulty going 1, 2, and then 3?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily, but you're going to be doing it. So don't worry. Go ahead. Let's get back. Let's get back into our lunge like we've been doing. Back leg straight and strong. Foot at a 45-degree angle. Down into the lunge. Thigh parallel to the floor. Knee in line with the ankle. All right. So we went Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Leaning forward. Back to center. Warrior 3. I want you to wrap your right arm around your back. Coming over to the hip area. All right. Extend your left arm up towards the ceiling.
Yes.
All right. Try and lean back a little bit. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling.
The ear duct and lights up there. I see them.
There we go. That's your Warrior 3 right there, Chaz.
Man, oh man.
That's it.
I'm ready. I'm actually ready to go out there and fight now.
You look ready.
Yeah.
You look ready.
You believe that. Corey, thank you.
Appreciate it,
I
buddy.
Make sure,
yes, sir.
And make sure you
Always.
check out Arikion on Facebook.
Yes,
and
check
you guys
us out.
have a YouTube page, so if you actually want to see, I think some of the poses are up there.
Oh, yeah, we got some
you
YouTube
and your
videos.
pale gloriness, if anybody wants to check that out.
Pale.
Slightly tan.
I gotta go to the tanning bed now.
Slightly
Go get my
tan.
spray tan on.
You're all right. Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Welcome to Charlotte Sports Day. This is a premiere edition, and the star athletes are you, Charlotte, the Weekend Warriors, the men and women who play in the local park fields, whose work goes largely unnoticed by the local television. Charlotte Sports Today will do our best to bring you the events not covered by the local media. From the flag football games to the local basketball tournaments, we'll be there for those. Also the local mixed martial arts events who showcase the local fast rising stars of that. All will be seen right here on Charlotte Sports Today.
What you are watching is called free television. It's part of a system born 50 years ago that is unlike any other in the world. Through your free TV window, you've been witness to triumph and tragedy, to love, laughter, learning, life. It's offered free to all, even the cable systems that carry it. Imagine the impact if it were gone. Join us in the coming months as we celebrate and stand watch over free TV.
All right, folks, welcome back here. Joining me now by Skype again on the beautiful World Wide Web is my good friend Anthony White. He's the analyst for Elite Championship Cage Fighting. Watch him on the Elite Championship Cage Fighting page and YouTube page. Welcome, Ants, as you look beautiful.
Yeah, how you doing, Chaz? What's up?
No problem. Let's go through a couple of great things that have happened here in the Carolinas. One is we have our very own guy with Jordan Rinaldi. Fights out of Team Rock. He's up there in the Concord area, and he's going to be on The Ultimate Fighter, or has been on The Ultimate Fighter as the show is sort of taped in advance. How good is this for guys in the Carolinas?
This is spectacular, man. I mean, it's great to have somebody representing the local circuit on a national level, at the highest level of the sport, actually. And you know, he's going to bring a lot to the show, and I think show everybody what North Carolina has.
Yeah, I think they sort of changed up the format this year for the Ultimate Fighter now that it's on FX. I think they're doing a 2-hour fight thing just so they can make it into the house. But seeing somebody up there on such a national level with these live fights is going to be a great thing for both Jordan, both the Carolinas, and with the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Just seeing him get on there, fight at the top level. You know, I think he's gonna do really well. He's undefeated, and he's been finishing everybody since his first fight, and he's just gonna look great.
And
I think he has a good chance to win the show.
Yeah, and I remember watching him going back to his amateur days, fighting for Elite, and I believe the only loss he had, the only blemish he had on his record, is a loss to Colt Howe.
Yeah, and it's not just that. I think he also finished everybody that he won against in his amateur career. His only loss was for that title up against Colt Howe, who's undefeated and no slouch himself. And you know, Jordan's done the same thing in his professional career. He's had that one decision, and you know, he's finished everybody else and looked very impressive.
Indeed, he has. Moving on to something that sort of caught nationally and almost worldwide is a fight not too long ago at Coyote Joe's in that Shane Tyner Ken Pitt Crowder fight. If you've seen the fight, I was there firsthand, and I didn't think it would go to the level it has right now. But I believe it's got over close to 300,000 views, gone to so many blogs and MMA websites. That thing is just unbelievable to see that.
Yeah, it exploded onto the internet. I think it was a great fight. You know, Shane looked really impressive going into the fight. He was 1-1 up against Kenneth Crowder, who was a very impressive amateur making his debut. Yeah, I think it's most famous for the part where Shane's had his cauliflower ear. He ate a nice little elbow, and yeah, he lost his ear. He wasn't fighting Mike Tyson, but it's still getting the same recognition as Evander Holyfield missing earpiece.
Yeah, that's one of the most remarkable pieces of videos I've seen firsthand is seeing a guy lose part of his ear. I talked to Shane not too long ago, and it didn't hurt him, it didn't sting him. There's some blood, but due to it being cauliflower, the medical thing that happens when you have something like that, it didn't really have too much pain, and I seen him, and it's healing pretty nicely.
You know, that's actually amazing that he ate that elbow, which was a hard elbow. Even if he didn't lose a piece of his ear, you know that elbow hurt. It was right to the side of the head there. And you know, he gets back up. He keeps coming at Kenneth. You know, he did not give up. He fought that fight to the finish. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Showed that in that fight.
Yeah, he's two great guys, and I think we had the opportunity to see them both as they've come up as amateurs, and now they're both onto the pro ranks now, which makes it, you know, somewhat nice to see, you know, guys get this type of exposure. I talked to Shane not too long ago, and I think he's got a couple of fights lined up outside of the States just due to the fact that this video has gone viral. So the exposure, even though he lost, the exposure of losing the fight, but also losing part of his ear is pretty, says something right there. So even if you lose body parts, hey, you can work something else, I guess.
Yeah, you know, I think that showed a lot of people that you can cut pieces off of this guy. He's still going to keep coming at you. You know, he's obviously hard to finish, even if he's missing pieces of his body.
Most definitely so. We're in a great time of year for MMA here locally in the Carolinas. And if you're a fan, there's almost an event going on anywhere you're at in the Carolinas. Is there any fights that stick out to you in the next couple of weeks?
You know, this is, I guess, the MMA promoters around here are trying to do their own March Madness with MMA. They have a lot of great cards coming up. One that I saw on the mixedmartialarts.com was Extreme Cage Combat, which is going to take place on March 23rd and has a crazy fight I'd never heard of until I saw it on the website. It's going to have Tony Rogers, who just won the Elite Championship belt, and he's going to be taking on DiBernardo, who has fought for an Elite fight for the elite belt before, and that was an insane fight against Matt Cheatham. Just showed a lot of heart, and that's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I believe that one's up in Asheville under Mike Cornbread Allen is matchmaking that fight, who has his hands in just about every single thing that happens in the Carolinas for some strange reason. But
he's going to spring in my room for this interview in a minute, I'm sure.
Say that again?
I said he's probably going to spring up in my room for this interview somehow, find his way here.
He just might. You never know where he's going to turn around. But yeah, that one has a couple interesting cards, a couple interesting fights on. I saw a guy that he was on the Fight Lab fight, I believe, in November. He was fighting Salone Staley. There's this guy by the name of Dan Sandlin. He's a staff sergeant in the Marines. He lost the fight to Salone, but I think this might be his last fight in the States, as he's a staff sergeant going to be put overseas for a little while. So I wish him the best of luck both as he goes into the fight in his Marine Corps career overseas, but he told me he's going to be back and look for him out there. Is there another fight that sort of sticks out to you?
You know, that whole Fight Lab card is going to be insane. They have 4 title fights on there with Mike Powell, who many consider to be one of the best 145ers, if not the best in North Carolina, taking on Salone Staley for the featherweight belt, which is just crazy. Mike finishes just about everybody. He's undefeated. He's taking on Staley, who's got a very impressive record, a lot of experience. He's 9-3. And he finishes most of his fights. That's going to be guaranteed fireworks for Fight Lab. Then there's Salah Hemadat, who just won the Bantamweight Championship over at Elite Championship Cage Fighting, and he's going to try and take another Bantamweight belt. And I believe he's fighting a guy named Joe Faglia. I probably just butchered his name. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't want to say it the other way because that sounds even worse. But he's also an undefeated amateur and finished all but one of his opponents. And these fights are just getting made, and I don't know. They're just going to walk out with dynamite, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm going to go down to that South Carolina fight for Fight Lab. It's going to be on the Shaw Air Force Base, which makes it even more interesting. But I believe Powell and Salone, there's a little bit of bad blood between them. Hopefully it's cooled over. But I believe Salone is also a guy on the Air Force Base. Somebody will correct me on the internet if I'm wrong about this. But he's fighting down there with Fernando Acera, who's been around, another great fighter. They're also from around that area. Fernando is also on the Air Force Base. And it's just going to be so electric seeing these guys fight in the cage, and also the mixed military personnel down there. It's always a great treat to see these guys perform. And from the crowd, it's almost like the UFC fight night for the troops, I believe, which is a great thing to do.
Very patient.
Hopefully they keep it up. Is there one more fight you think that has your interest, or can conjure up anything else in that head of yours, afro, that you're missing right now?
You know, it's really hard to pick. I want to have them right in front of me, and just every fight is just looking insane. Even the guys that have like 1 or 2 fights, they're just going to come out and it's going to be insane. Obviously, they messed these fights up really good this month. And like I said, it's like March Madness for mixed martial arts.
March Fight Madness. I wonder if we can get the copyright to that. I doubt it. Anthony, thank you very much for joining us there on the World Wide Web. We appreciate your insight, and hopefully we'll look forward to more of it in the next couple of weeks.
All right, man. You be good.
All right, take care.
You don't need cable to watch CMAP TV. Local content anytime, anywhere. Online at www.cmap.tv.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks, more than 4 miles long. We can keep Charlotte students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Drive that knee now. Let's go.
Get your weight down. Good. Take your time, baby. Take your time. Isolate that arm, Joy. You can walk north-south. Leave the belly. There you go. There you go. Leave the belly. Now. Watch out. Get that arm out. Get that arm out.
He ain't getting that arm out. He ain't getting that arm out. Come on, Dwight. Come on, Dwight.
Show him pressure. Show him pressure. Show him pressure. Yeah, now. Put that knee out now. Show him pressure. Work your knee out. Keep that shoulder pressure, Jordan. Get your knee out. Keep that shoulder pressure. Keep that shoulder pressure on him. Work that knee out. Jordan, take your left hand and push his knee down. Push it down and step over. Jordan, show him pressure. Put his hand against the cage, Jordan. Bring his hand to the cage. Jordan, you can show him pressure. Take your left hand, Jordan. Push it down.
Oh, Jordan gonna remember this night. Believe that.
Yeah, you will too, baby. Jordan, show him pressure. Show him pressure.
Come on, Dwight.
Now push that knee down with that hand. Push that knee down. In the middle.
That's right. That's right. He getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Jordan. Get that knee out. Back up. Get that knee out. Get that knee out. Yeah, there you go. Come on, Jordan. Push it down. Push it down. Grab the wrist. Just grab the wrist with your left hand. Push it down. Yeah, that's it. Get it out, Jordan. Push it out, Jordan. Take it out. Short time. Short time, Jordan. Short time. Lean back. Short time, baby. Short time. Sit up, you want.
That's
Sit
right,
up.
baby. That's
Sit
right.
up.
That's right. Get your ass up. Get up. Them blows are nothing.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
Welcome home, man.
Don't let this shit go to decision.
Take your time. There you go, baby. Jordan, push your knee out. Push your knee out. Step out the bridge, Juwan. Step it up. Now. There, go. It's open. It's open. It's open. Lean up. Jordan, there you go. Cross face. Punch. There you go. Punch again.
Walk it up, baby. Walk it up. Take it in. Keep down. Watch your head.
You don't need cable to watch CMAP TV. Local content anytime, anywhere. Online at www.cmap.tv.
Seven 7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep Charlotte students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Packers. Viking. Packer. Viking. Viking.
Red state, blue state, vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown. Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
All right, folks, that'll do it for today's episode. Remember, you can always watch us on YouTube. Just search Charlotte Sports Today, or become a fan of the show on Facebook by searching Charlotte Sports Today. We've got another exciting episode coming up in 2 weeks. So until then, I'm Chaz Bryant. Thank you, everyone, for watching.